Maximizing your tech salary. How do you answer the salary question? Everyone gets it. It happens at the same time too. You're going to get it. This is one of their favorite questions. They have to ask it. It's a way that it's the way they qualify, right? If they can't afford you, or you're not even on the same page in terms of pay, then it's a waste of time. So I want to teach you how to answer it. It's really simple. It's really straightforward, and it's going to maximize the amount of money that we can put in your pocket at the offer stage. So let's get started. Again, this is the number one question you will receive at the end of each interview. And what I mean by that is they're going to ask you, what are your salary expectations? Boom, every time. The exact moment that this will happen will be at the end of your first interview. It'll typically be the last question that the recruiter asks you before they wrap up the call and move you on to the next stages. Now, I want to be clear. This is not an opportunity to negotiate. Wrong time. Absolutely wrong time. The opportunity to negotiate comes at the end when you get an offer. And to even negotiate, you have to earn the right. So you get to negotiate and ask for more after you've clearly proven that you're worthy of getting paid that much. So after you've gone through the whole interview process, after you've got everybody sold on you, after you've impressed them, that's when you get the opportunity to go and negotiate and ask for more. It is completely it's very premature to try to negotiate on the first phone call, the first interview with the recruiter. The recruiter generally doesn't even never has any say on what you're going to get paid. What you're going to be paid is usually made by is made by the hiring manager, so the sales development manager, or the VP of sales above them. That's where the negotiation or how much you're going to get paid comes from. So that's a decision that has almost nothing to do with the recruiting team. The recruiter usually is just there is just there to qualify you. Make sure that you're even in the same in the right room, right? Because a lot of people do spam applications where they just submit their resume like crazy to any company or any position in hopes of getting any type of job anywhere, right? So there's a lot of just crappy applications and crappy candidates that aren't serious. And so the recruiter is there to vet those people. And so again, this is not an opportunity to negotiate. 99% of the time, the recruiter doesn't even have the power or authority to negotiate and give you a better offer. Really, they're asking it just to see if you're aligned on pay. If you're not, then there's no point in talking further. So really, they just want to see, hey, does this guy, can we either afford to pay this person, or is this person going to be asking for way more? Because otherwise, you go through the whole interviewing process, and then in the end, they're not even going to pay you what you wanted to get paid, and so you reject the offer, and you waste everyone's time. So it's really just a measure to see if you guys are talking the same language, and if not, no point in wasting time. Rookies will make a lot of mistakes on this question. Rookies take this question very seriously, and they think it's an opportunity to negotiate. And so again, that's really the biggest mistake that you can make here. Another mistake that you can make is answering and lowballing yourself, right? I don't want you to answer the question. Do not answer it, okay? You'll either lowball yourself, or you will end up coming out with a really unrealistic number that is above market rate. So what do? You answer it by saying this: that is a great question, but I'd really hate to lowball myself. Would you mind sharing what the salary range is for this role? And then I can let you know if it's within my range. That's it. Just flip it back on them, and they'll tell you. 9 out of 10 times, they're pretty transparent about it. They answer it. They're like, "Yeah, the salary range for this is somewhere around X, Y, and Z. Does that sound good to you? Is that within your range or what you were thinking about?" And usually, what you'll find is that they'll give you a number that was maybe slightly higher than what you were expecting. And so that's a great position to be in. That's exactly how we can, end up getting paid the most that we can get, as opposed to answering it prematurely and or answering the question and then lowballing ourselves on accident. And so I want you to do your research. Um, do your research on these websites. These websites are the three websites that are specifically oriented towards tech sales and the tech industry in general. And so use these to look up salaries. You can look up salaries by company. You can see what quota attainment is like. Overall, I just want you to get a high level understanding of what decent pay looks like so that you have the ear for it. And that way you just know if you're lowballing, that you're getting lowballed, or if it's a fair number. I really don't think that you should worry about necessarily getting finding the top paying companies, because the reality is that as you're looking to break into tech sales, your pay is going to be in alignment with the average market rate. So don't worry about going for the highest paying roles. I think that if you can just avoid the low ball roles that are like paying complete trash, you're going to be in a good place. Tech companies in general pay really well. And so what average looks like at a tech company is above average for 80% of the population out there. So overall, just have a high level understanding of what companies pay. And just to give you an example, I pulled up RepView, and what I'm looking at here is I pulled up a company called Cloudera. And what you would do is just kind of skim through it, see what their pay is. So for me, what I'm looking at is, as an account executive, is like, okay, their median base pay is somewhere in the $160,000 range, and the medium on target earnings for this role is 320,000. And I'm just trying to compare, and when I interview with them, I know, okay, like the number I found on the internet is roughly what they say they actually pay. So it's a green light, and I continue to go through the interview process. Lastly, what happens if it is a low ball? So, what happens in the case where the company actually is paying well below market rate? You can do a number of things. You can practice, so you can use this as a practice run, meaning, fine, you know that they're not going to pay you what you want to be paid. You know that you're not going to take this opportunity seriously and that you're going to end up rejecting them. Um, that's okay. Go through the process to get your reps in. I highly recommend this, especially if you are new to the game or rusty. Um, you can also just reject it, right? If you don't want to waste your time, you already feel in the groove, you don't need practice runs, you don't want to waste your time, and you know you're not enthusiastic about it, you know, okay, just reject them. Thank you, but that's below what I was hoping for. I'm just going to pass up on this opportunity. Thank you. Boom. All right. You can challenge them. Hey, listen, I am super pumped about this opportunity. I love everything that you shared with me today, but it's lower than what I was expecting. Uh, is this firm, or will there be room to negotiate later on in the interview process, assuming that everything goes well? Lastly, you can just run with it. Look, if you are struggling with money, or simply wanting to break in and make it as easy as possible, or maybe money isn't a big requirement for you, it's not the biggest, most important thing, Or if you're really excited about the opportunity, like you genuinely are pumped about what they do, their mission, their product, the people that you met throughout the interview process, screw it. Take it, run with it. That's okay. But these are the options. And to conclude, again, don't answer the question, flip it back on them.